Hi, my name's George Grijalva, and I'm a carpet cleaner just like you, and this is my Pet Damage DVD Part 1. I remember my first pet damage like it was yesterday. I showed up at the customer's house, and she was showing me these urine stains all over this entire home and kept complaining about this awful smell. Well, I had no idea what to do. I thought I could just clean it and it would fix it. Well, that doesn't work. It wasn't until I took an IICRC odor control class that they started talking about enzymes and pulling pad and sealing floor and using a moisture detector that I figured it out, and I couldn't wait to dive in and go do my next pet damage. So you're going to learn 4 different processes during this DVD. How to do a pet damage when you're only dealing with the surface and you got odor and stains. How to deal with a pet damage when you've got odor stains, but you're going to have to take it a little bit further and do some pad replacement. And then how to deal with a pet damage when you've got just the odor, no stains, and pad replacement. And also how to deal with odor and pad replacement and breaking 3 seams and how to put those back together. Now remember, whenever you're doing pet damage, you want to offer all the different processes and recommend the best one for the customer. Let them decide if they can afford it and it's in their budget. The other thing that I recommend when you're doing pet damage is have fun with it. It's not just business, it's show business, like Sherman Guffey taught me, who was my IICRC instructor for all my certifications. He said, when you show up, dress up for the occasion. So I grab my rubber gloves. I make sure I have my FBI UV light so I can show them the urine stains. I also make sure that I have my moisture detector so that I can poke it into the carpet and show them that they actually have urine in the pad. And then the other thing that I do once I got all my gear on is I take it a step further and I come in looking like a stormtrooper. I even have eye protection. Now if I showed up to your house and you had pet damage and I was dressed like this, wow, it stinks in here. Look at those urine stains, and I got the FBI UV light. You know, this would really make an impact on them, and I guarantee you, you'll get the job. Because they'll be going, if this guy is dressing up like that to come into my home's supposed to be my castle, our carpet must be disgusting. So take a look at all of this, but before we get into the processes, I'm going to show you all the different tests that you can use to get the job. They're fantastic.
This is exactly why you want to have an FBI UV light. These tools, I call them ATM machines. Because if you go into a customer's home and they're saying the urine's right here, or can't you smell that, you might be able to smell it and you might be able to see something. But when you bust out a tool like this makes you such an expert. Because if you have competitors out there that don't have this equipment and they're going to come and give an estimate, they're going to go with you because you're showing them the pet damage. I mean, look at this. This looks like some alien life form has infected her carpet, and they're going to come out of the carpet and take over the planet. I mean, this is just disgusting. And the customer had no idea that her animal was doing this. She knew that there was an odor and that it was smelling really bad. But when you can actually visually show her, I mean, she could not wait to schedule the job with me. Now this is a moisture detector. What you do is you stick it in the carpet, and whenever it registers any kind of moisture from the pet damage, it's going to beep. I also call it the money stick, because when it makes those beeps, the customer goes, wow, this guy is so professional, and usually what happens is I end up getting the job. This is another great test. You take a clean glass, you find a really bad pet damage area, you stick it over it, wait about 5 to 10 minutes, then you come back, pick it up, and then let the customer take a whiff of it. It'll usually knock them out. If you really want to impress the customer, pull the carpet back and show them the pet damage. They'll be grossed out.
Ew, was that disgusting or what? Can you believe those customers live like that? It's a good thing that we showed up. Say hi to Roxy. This is my daughter's dog. She's been in one of my other DVDs too. She slipped in the background and I just left it in. But anyways, the reason I'm holding her is because this first technique that's coming up is great for small dogs or fresh urine. We're going to show you how to get the odor and the stains out when the pet damage is only on the surface. Your customers are going to love this option.
Do you see all those brown spots? These are urine stains that have been here for over 2 years. The customer has been living like this and he doesn't think we're going to be able to get them out. So let's help this customer. The first thing we want to do is we want to spray a reasonable amount of PROCHEM odor rescue all over the urine stains. This is going to help remove the stains, and it's also got a deodorizer in there to help with any kind of smell. Whenever I'm dealing with urine stains, I like to get my sprayer up close and personal. I like to saturate that urine stain with the chemistry to be able to remove it properly. The secret to removing stains is using the right science, and in this situation, odor rescue is going to be perfect for the job. Another product that you can use to get out urine stains is Urine Rescue by PROCHEM. But I like Odor Rescue because not only is it a stain remover, but it's also a deodorizer. So it's going to help remove the stains, plus it's going to make the room smell good. Now you want to make sure you agitate this chemistry into the fibers. That's the secret to get the results we're looking for. Now let's go ahead and rinse this out with all fiber deep clean. This is really important. You want to take slow, strong extraction strokes because this urine has been on that carpet for over 2 years. We want to thoroughly rinse it out. You may also want to mention to the customer that when you get done hot water extracting, that they may still smell the urine because we've rehydrated it. That's really important. If you forewarn them, they're not going to do a callback on you. But let them know when it lays dormant and it dries that it's going to go away. This is a simple treatment option for surface odor and stains. In the following videos, you will see subsurface treatment options for severe contamination, including pad replacement. We're almost done, hang in there. We've just got 2 more steps. Now we're going to take it to the next level and we're going to spray Urine Rescue all over the carpet and rake it in. This is going to work over the next 24 hours to make sure that those urine stains don't come back. Make sure you ask the customer to keep their pets and kids off of the carpet until it dries because it will irritate their skin. If for any reason they get this on them, they can just wash it off with soap and water. Once the carpet dries, it will self-neutralize.
This next technique is for severe pet damage. Let's say the customer has a dog that is turning their house into a toilet. He is urinating wherever he wants because he thinks he's the boss and the customers are the pet. They probably need to take that animal to some dog classes to get him some help. But anyways, you're not there to train the dog, you're there to help in the situation. Now let's also say that they had a couple cats that are doing the same thing, except for they can't hit their litter box, but they can hit everywhere else in the house, including the upholstery. And I'm glad I'm bringing that up because you're going to want to get my pet damage on how to clean upholstery. Now the other thing that I want you to pay attention to in this DVD is that you got to follow all the steps in order for you to be able to guarantee this job. Whenever you're doing a pet damage situation, you want to make sure that you're giving the customer your professional advice, the technique that they should actually go with. That's the only way to guarantee. Sometimes it'll fit in their budget, sometimes it won't, but it's better to do something than do nothing. Now this job that's coming up, you're definitely going to want to gear up for it. So let's go get this job done and put a smile on that customer's face. Now as you can see, when you look at the carpet, you can't really see the pet damage. That's why we use the FBI UV light. When you use the UV light, you're going to see the pet damage all of a sudden appear. You see that? Now this is a great tool to use because when you're able to show your customer that you have the right equipment and you have education and you have the knowledge that they've never seen as far as pet damage goes before, then there's a better chance that you're going to get the job, get the work. And so you see how that UV light works? No pet damage. There's the pet damage. And I went ahead and did an inspection on this whole carpet, and the pet damage is all over the family room and the dining room.
The first thing that we want to do is lay our foundation. This is very important. We want to prep our carpet properly. You want to cover the entire carpet area where the pet damage is with odor rescue. If you have a urine stain, you want to put a reasonable amount on that urine stain area, and when we get done, we want to leave it so that it can continue to work while we're doing all of the other steps. Now it's important not to miss any of these steps. The next thing we want to do is agitate the carpet. This is going to spread the cleaner over the entire fiber area. It's very important to do that in order to get the results that we're looking for. Now one of the things you got to do first is you got to take off the metal trim that's over in the kitchen area so you can pull this carpet up. What you do is you grab your little
claw crowbar. It's a really handy little tool. That's why you want to make sure you don't lose any of your tools, because you never know when you're going to need them, and when you need them, it's nice to have them now. And so you want to pull this up first. Take good care of it, because you're going to be putting it back down. Don't lose anything else. Then what you want to use is you want to use your carpet awl. This is a really handy tool. You want to take it over here in the corner. You want to pop up the vents first, because you'll be replacing those later. Then you want to take your carpet awl over in the corner, poke it into the corner, grab that carpet, and start pulling it out. This is the fun part. Now you can see the pet damage on the back of the primary backing. You want to lay this out flat, so that way you can clean the back of the carpet. Now do you see all that pet damage that's on the back of the carpet? Well, it's on the back of the secondary backing, and it's really important that you clean the back of the carpet with 230 degrees with your extraction, because that's a lot of pet damage that's just on the back of the carpet that you can just extract out. And grab your pad blade. It looks just like this. And you want to use a brand new razor blade every single time you use this. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to cut that pad properly. Come over here. Use your blade on the pad. Cut out the pad. And then start tearing it up. And if you can, just roll it up. That's why you want to have your knee pads on too, so you don't hurt your knees on any staples, the wood floor. You want to protect your knees, plus you don't want to put your knees in any pet damage. Roll up that pad, and you want to be sure that you get all these little pieces of foam up, because otherwise, when they walk on it, what they're going to feel is they're going to feel little bumps underneath the carpet, and so you want to be sure you get all this up. And a good trick that we learned was just take your booms and go like this. That'll get it up pretty good. And then you just got to make sure you don't leave anything underneath the pad.
Make sure that you measure out how much of the pad you're going to be replacing. One roll will cover about 250 square feet. It's amazing how much can fit in the back of your van. Now we're going to seal the floor, so open up the window to get good ventilation. I've used a lot of sealers over the years, but the one that I like to use the most now is Kills Original. You can use Kills or you can use Kills Spray. You want to make sure that you cover all the pet damage area and seal that off-gassing into the subfloor. When you get to the tack strip, you want to make sure that you spray and seal that as well. Or what you can do is go out to your truck, grab a piece of tack strip, and replace it. I always recommend that you show the customer or tell the customer what you're doing, because when they see how far you're going to help them, they really appreciate it. Spray the back of the carpet with Odor Rescue. And then wait 10 minutes before you extract. Now let's thoroughly extract the back of the carpet, removing all of the pet damage using PROCHEM All Fiber Deep Clean. You really want to take your time on this because you want to make sure that you remove all of the urine. Now you're going to notice what we're doing is going to happen in layers. Now we're going to spray the secondary backing with Odor Rescue one more time, and this is going to help with the odor.
Then what you want to do is you want to go out and get your pad from out of the truck, drag it in, and you're going to put this in sections. What you're going to do is you're going to take this pad, you're going to bring it over here, and you're going to put the flat side along the tack strip here. Now see, you don't want this pad over that tack strip, because then the carpet won't be able to grab on the teeth. You want to have it just snug, just like that. That's perfect. Then once you line it up, then it's really easy just to roll it out in one big section. Then you want to take out your pad cutter and make a nice clean cut. Get it lined up on the tack strip on the side, lined up on the tack strip here, and you're looking good. Now this is pretty simple. What you do is you take your pad blade, and if it starts to tear, make sure you flip your pad blade over. Let's just say that this section of the blade was used up. What you do is you just take it and you flip it, and you have a brand new side. Like so. Once this side's used up, then flip the whole blade and you got two more fresh sides. So you can get a lot of use out of the razor blade. So then what you do is you go to the edge. You can see right here the tack strip. Go right to the edge of the tack strip and you can feel it. And you can just follow that tack strip all the way down and you'll see, you'll get a nice clean cut. So that's pretty simple, isn't it? Now that I've cut this part here, and you want to be really careful with this because it's real sharp, you can see that the padding is too wide, and so I'm going to have to do the same thing on this side. Just get right up against the edge of the tack strip, take it all the way down, and you got a nice fit. Now right here we're running into a vent. See how it's blowing that pad up? I got the air conditioning on because it's about 95 degrees outside right now. But anyways, you can feel the vent. It's right there. All you got to do is just cut yourself a little triangle. I'm sorry, a little rectangle. Piece of cake. There's the vent. Then what you do is you want to check to make sure your pad's snug over on the other edge before you make any more cuts. Then just continue along the tack strip. Now another thing that's very important is make sure a section of this pad doesn't get left on top of this pad and you reinstall the carpet, because you're going to have a bump underneath the carpet and the customer is going to complain about it, and you're going to come back and you're not going to be able to figure it out, and you're going to remember that you saw this video. You're going to pull the carpet back and it's going to be a piece of pad. It's happened to me a couple times. Now this is the seam. This is where I brought the two pieces of pad together. Now look how they line up nice and snug. That's really important that they line up like that, because if they don't, if you leave a gap, like let's say you leave a 1-inch gap or a 2-inch gap or any kind of gap here, then the customer is going to call back and they're going to complain that there's a dent in the carpet and they want to know what it is. You'll pull the carpet up and there's a big gap. So you want to make sure that this is snug. Take your carpet hammer, your staple hammer, just lay that down. Now right here in the corner, the pad was going over the tack strip a little bit. You can manipulate this pad just a little bit. I'm bringing it back about maybe a ½ inch, and I think I'll still get by with that. Take your staple hammer and pretty much go crazy. Make sure you're not hammering too hard like with a hammer. Just let it drop. Don't put the staples in where it needs to go. Bring these seams together nice and tight. Make sure they're not overlapping. Just grab the corner. Try to lay it right back in the same place that it was. Now what you want to do when you use this knee kicker is you don't want to use your knee, because then you'll have knee problems. What you want to do is you want to use your thigh, this big muscle right here. And you can see the tack strip right here. These teeth, I don't know if you can see them, but these teeth, you can see there's about a 1-inch gap right here. That way, when you do your kick, you want to kick it pretty good too. If you're hitting with your thigh, you're not going to hurt yourself. get it up on the teeth of the tack strip, and then you tuck it in with your stair tool, and then take your stair tool in your hand like this, palm down, and then what you do is you put some pressure on it, just body weight, and you can hear those teeth just stick into the secondary and the primary backing, so it's going to hold it in place. Now, I can get away with a knee kicker on a commercial grade carpet because it's pretty flimsy. It's pretty easy to work with. Some of your carpet, your nicer carpet, you might not be able to reinstall it this way. You may need to use your power stretcher.
This is what a power stretcher looks like. It's a great tool. It stretches the carpet without you having to use a knee kicker and holds it into place. And a knee kicker is an accessory whenever you're doing a new installation. I've just been doing so many pad replacements and so many flood damages that sometimes the carpet is so flimsy it's really easy to reinstall it with a knee kicker. But don't mistake using a power stretcher when you need to. You want to use common sense for the job. This is video footage off of my Restretch DVD. Now, if you're not doing restretches right now, I highly recommend that you purchase this DVD. You are missing out on so much money. They are great jobs to get. So log on to my website at carpetcleaningtradesecrets.com. As a matter of fact, push pause on this DVD, go to your computer, and order it right now, and start making more money doing restretches.
I'm going to go ahead and reinstall this whole area. Let you see how it's done. You'll see how quick it moves along. Careful not to bang up their baseboard too much.
Now that you've reinstalled the carpet, let's do the final step. Let's walk the room on the edges of the carpet, attaching any areas that we've missed to the tack strip. This will help to secure it.
Sometimes you have a corner of the carpet that won't go in by just pushing with your stair tool, so you're going to need your rubber mallet. Touch it right in there. But you want to be really careful when you're using this rubber mallet not to hit your hand, because that smarts. Now, I don't know if you can see this very good, but it's a nice clean install. Everything's back in place. It's ready to have its carpets clean. The only thing we got left is the trim right there in the kitchen. We'll put that on now. Okay, this is pretty simple. Just take your trim, put it back in its place. You got all the nails ready to go. Easy. Trim looks good.
Now let's hot water extract the entire carpet with all fiber deep clean. You want to make sure that you're doing really strong extraction strokes to remove all of that pet damage, and then follow it up with really good dry strokes so that the carpet doesn't turn out too wet. Then the customer is going to be really happy. Yay, we're almost done. So let's put the vent cover back. And remember, it's really important to put things back in place. Now this is one of the most important steps. Do not miss this. You want to make sure that you pick the right product for the job, and you can choose which you prefer. You can use either PROCHEM Urine Rescue to help eliminate odor and urine stains, or you can use Odor Rescue to help eliminate odor and urine stains. The only difference is Odor Rescue has a fragrance. When this job dries, make sure you tell the customer to vacuum. Now let's do our final groom. This is so important to show the customer what a great job you did. When they come in and look at this room and you've actually taken your rake and you've groomed it, they're going to look at it in awe.
That job turned out great. I sure could have used your help though. Now this next situation is completely different. This is when you're only dealing with odor. The customers called us up and they said their home reeked like urine and they couldn't figure it out. And their house was brand new. When we went over there and did our pre-inspection, we didn't see any urine stains. Now urine stains will only show up when the animal is sick. When he's not sick, they're invisible. When we pulled the carpet back, we discovered that we needed to seal the floor and replace the pad in the downstairs and a portion of the upstairs. This is a completely different technique though, because we decided to use enzymes. So we decided that we were going to sandwich the carpet with enzymes. Enzymes, their whole purpose in life is to eat urine, vomit, and feces. They look at it like a buffet. They'll keep eating until it's gone. So this is a great technique when you're dealing with odor. Just remember, don't mix any other chemicals with your enzymes, otherwise it will mess up the enzyme process. Now if you want to be the carpet cleaning hero, you want to do this.
Okay, we located it. I don't know if you can see it, but we can see it pretty darn good. When he doesn't shine the UV light on it, it doesn't show up. He shines the UV light on it and it shows up really obvious. Okay, we located some more urine. Now watch, he's going to move the UV light off of the urine. He puts it back on the urine and it just glows right up. Look at that. Makes it really obvious, really easy for us to see, and the customers are very impressed with how professional you are doing an inspection on their carpet to locate any pet damage.
It's important to work smart and not hard. If you have the right equipment, a job like this can be a snap. You'll notice that I have a furniture jack and furniture sliders. You just place them underneath the heavy pieces and then you can slide them out of your way. Our first step is to lay our foundation. So let's spray our enzyme rescue over the entire carpet area where there's pet damage so that we can let that actively work while we're doing other steps. Now let's agitate and work that cleaner into the carpet fibers. This is very important. It's really going to make sure that this job turns out phenomenal. Once again, let's pull the carpet back to reveal the rotten urine. This is a great technique whenever you're doing an estimate. If you want to get the job, pull the carpet back, let the customers have that fragrance of fresh rotten urine and see it for themselves. You'll get the job. Now let's spray our enzyme rescue on the back of the carpet, fully covering the areas where we have the pet damage. This is very important to lay this prep work first because then the pet damage is going to turn out fantastic. Now using a pad knife, let's slice up this pad into easy sections that we can roll up and remove. Now a great technique, which is a money saver for your customer, is if you don't replace the pad, you could just spray your enzyme rescue or your odor rescue on top of the pad, skip replacing the pad and sealing the floor, and just do the rest of the steps. Now use your boot to remove all the little pieces of pad, and then you want to sweep up the area. You want to get it all ready for the pad replacement. It's important not to miss any of these steps. You want to dot all your I's and cross all your T's. Now once again, we want to seal the floor. This is so important. It's going to seal all that rotten urine into the subfloor, and we're doing it a little different this time. Do you remember when I was talking about how you can roll it on? Well, we're rolling it on, so you can just choose whichever technique is best for you. Now let's go out to the van and grab the pad. Whenever you're installing the pad, you always want to make sure that you're putting the webbing side up. The reason that you want to do that is because the secondary backing on your carpet is going to slide across that. That's the proper installation for that pad. I always recommend that when you're going and purchasing the pad, that you take a little piece of the original pad with you so you can get the same poundage, you can get the same height. You want to try to get it as identical to the pad that you're replacing so they don't see a difference when they're walking on the carpet. Sometimes you have to trim off some of the excess pad. What you do is you take your pad knife and you push it right into the edge of the tack strip, and if you press hard enough, you can get it in one cut. If they have tile or linoleum, what you do is you take your pad knife and the excess pad that you're cutting off, just follow along the tack strip once again. Make sure you feel with your fingers that you know the tack strip is right there, because you want to have the pad right up against the tack strip but not over it. Piece of cake. This is called a trace cut. When you have to bring two pieces of pad together, You stick one piece of pad underneath the other, and you just take your pad knife and you trace along the edge. Then you pull the little piece of pad that's underneath out. If you press hard enough, you can do this in one cut. Do you remember how to do this? This is our vent. Just cut out a small rectangle. This is another trade secret you could only learn on the job. What happened is the pad wasn't meeting up against the tack strip. We had a 3-inch gap. So we've taken a small section of pad and we put it on top of the existing pad. Now we're cutting through both pieces of pad, and then we're going to trace cut along the edge. Then we're going to replace the existing piece of pad underneath, and this is going to be a perfect fit. Now we're going to show you the piece of pad that was underneath and how big of a gap there was between the tack strip. You never want to install pad like that. Now this is the piece of pad that we trace cut. Now look at that. It is a perfect fit. Always clean up your mess. Don't leave any pad behind. Grab your staple hammer and let's tack down the carpet. If you've never used one of these before, you don't have to slam it on the ground because you will jam it and break it. Just get a feel for it, and after your first job, you'll be able to do this with ease. When you're putting the seam of the pad together, you want it nice and snug. You want it tight. You don't want any gaps. And then you just tap the staple hammer on each side of the seam all the way down. Now let's hot water extract all of the rotten urine off the back of the carpet using all fiber deep clean. Now this is a great technique. The customer is absolutely going to love you for using this process. This is one of the most important steps. Now that we've cleaned the rotten urine off the back of the carpet, what we're going to do is we're going to spray a reasonable amount of enzymes on the back using PROCHEM Enzyme Rescue. This is going to create a sandwich because we're going to also do it on the top after we get done cleaning. And these enzymes, their whole purpose in life is to eat urine, vomit, and feces. Now let's reinstall the carpet. Do you remember when we first sprayed the enzymes on top of the carpet before we uninstalled it? So those enzymes have been working and digesting all of that pet damage this whole time. And it also smells a lot better in here too. So let's reinstall the carpet and then we'll clean it. You can use your knee kicker to position the carpet before you install it into the edges. This is a great technique. Take your stair tool and tuck those edges in. Sometimes it's easy, other times you need your white rubber mallet. Once you've got the edges in, take your stair tool palm down and put a lot of pressure pushing the primary and secondary backing into the tack strip. Now when you're tucking in the edge near the tile or the linoleum, especially if it's tile, you want to be really careful. You don't want to chip that tile because that could cost more to replace it than it does to do this entire job. You'll notice with the knee kicker, I'm just tapping it, making sure that I get it right to the edge where I want it with enough stretch to tuck it into the edge. Take your stair tool, tuck it in, press it down with your thumbs, and just continue to do this over and over. When you get to the other end, don't forget to take your stair tool palm down and lock the primary and secondary backing onto that tack strip. That's very important. If we were installing brand new carpet, you would want to use a power stretcher. The knee kicker is really just an accessory. But because this is a pet damage repair, I can use a knee kicker because this carpet is really easy to work with. Some carpet's not going to be so easy and you are going to have to use a power stretcher. You're just going to have to use common sense. If you don't know how to use a power stretcher, you definitely want to get my Restretch DVD. Now that we have the carpet installed, let's hot water extract. You want to make sure that you're using really slow strokes because you want to thoroughly rinse out that urine. Hang in there, we're almost done. Now you want to spray your PROCHEM Enzyme Rescue over the entire pet damage area. This is great. We're unleashing an entire army of little soldiers that are going to gobble up all that pet damage. Then rake it and leave it.
Now let's move upstairs. We're going to continue with the same process. The only difference is we're going to break 3 seams. Don't be afraid to do this. It's really simple. I'm going to show you how to break them and put them back together. Check it out.
The animal also did a lot of pet damage upstairs in the master bedroom. So we're going to put our sliders under the master bed and we're going to slide it and get it out of the way. Now we're not going to replace this entire room because the pet damage is only on a portion of it. This mattress is so big it even has supports in the middle, so we had to put sliders on those as well. Now I'm going to show you a trick. I invented this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new seam. Instead of breaking the old seam, which I've done in the past, and those don't seem to turn out very good, I'm going to create a brand new seam right next to that one. So we're going to leave the other one in place. The secret to making clean seams is making sure that you have a straight edge. That's very important. So we're going to take our straight edge and we're going to cut along it using our carpet knife. And this is going to work out really nice. This is really simple to do. Just rest your straight edge against the door frame. Now you remember when I said every situation is different? Well, this one's a little more unique because we have a double doorway. If we had a normal doorway, this straight edge is large enough to make it from end to end. But you know what? We've been doing this so long, all we're going to do is be creative. We're going to use this straight edge and then we'll slide it down. Now when you're making your cut, you want to make sure that that straight edge does not move on you, and you want to be sure to have enough pressure on that carpet knife that you're going through the primary and secondary backing. You want to make this cut all in one shot. Now don't be afraid to do this. It's fun. Cut that carpet. Once you've done a few of these, you're going to have a lot of confidence that you can do it anytime you want to. Now there are longer straight edges, and we have them, but at this job we just didn't bring it. So you know what? We adapted. Sometimes you have to do that. The one thing you got to promise me is don't ever try to break the seam by doing it free-handed and then think that you're going to seam it back together. It will turn out terrible. You've got to make sure that your seams are straight. Did you see that nice little flip? Your carpet knife has two sides. Now that we've cut the seam, sometimes there's little pieces of primary and secondary backing that are holding it together. You just take your carpet knife and you snip them and it'll open right up. We have to break two more seams, one between the master bedroom and the bathroom, and one between the bathroom and the master closet. What's great about this job is that the cut pile is really long, so it's going to hide all these seams that we're doing. So we had a lot of confidence in doing this job. Remember, the secret to clean seams is really straight edges. Speaking of straight edges, your carpet knife has two sides. You want to be really careful with this. It could fillet your finger wide open. You want to have a lot of respect for this tool. It'll do a good job for you, but be really careful with it. Okay, now that we've broken our seams, let's pull that carpet back so that we can do the exact same thing that we've done on all the other processes. Replace the pad, seal the floor, clean the rotten urine off the back of the carpet. This customer is really excited that we're willing to do this because their carpet is brand new. This house is only a year old. Whenever you're doing pet damage, you want to use common sense. If you want to get really good at it too, you want to take an IICRC carpet cleaning course and an IICRC odor control class. This will really help you understand your science. When you're doing pet damage, you want to give your customer choices. You can tell them you can clean the top of the carpet and spray, or you can clean the top of the carpet, spray, pull the carpet back, spray the pad and spray the back of the carpet and clean it and spray it, or you can replace the pad and seal the floor. You just want to give the customer options because you don't know what they want to do. The pet damage might not be a big deal to you, but to them it may be absolutely disgusting. So there's been jobs where the pet damage should have had the pad replaced, but they couldn't afford to do it, so we did the best that we could. Then there's been people that, they only had a little bit of pet damage and they wanted the whole pad and all the treatment so that they can get everything done perfect because they had their dog trained, it wasn't going to the bathroom on the carpet anymore, or they were getting rid of the dog. So just never assume how far the customer wants to go. Just be willing to do whatever they want. And you have to price it accordingly. You got to make it worth your while to do it. And when you're doing like a pad replacement like this and cleaning the back of the carpet and this whole process that I've been showing you through this DVD, you got to make sure that you're making it worth your while. It's got to be a win-win for everybody. So it's usually, I think it's about usually like the third of the cost of replacing carpet. And you got to look at this situation as they're going to replace the carpet if you don't fix it. So sometimes you just got to go for it. At our company, we call this the Checkmate roll. What we do is we wrap our vacuum hoses around our body, so it gives us a lot of control. We can just carry these in sections. Sometimes you can just wrap around your body, grab the hose, and run it to the front door. Or you can just unattach it. We used to just grab the hoses and run in the house, and what would happen is the edges on the corners would get scratched up, and we learned really quickly when we had to come back and re-spackle and paint those. So look at this. We can just walk it right in. When we get to the front door, then we can start dropping our hose right where we want to. It gives us a lot of control. We walk up the steps, we unwind ourselves, put it right in the place where we want it to be, and the customer really appreciates this. And you know what? It really shows that you're a professional and you know what you're doing. When you can actually control your hoses and put them where you want, it really makes a difference. You want to save steps every chance you get. So put a hose hook on your pocket, so when you get to the top of the stairs, you can just put it around the vacuum hose, make it real tight, and attach it to the railing. This is going to control your vacuum hose so it's not going to go sliding down the stairs when you're trying to clean the carpet. Then you can grab the remainder of the hose and walk it right into the room. Now that the job is finished, let's put the seams back together. So you want to grab some seam tape and you want to put it underneath the seam, and there's a middle line in the middle of the seam tape and you want to make sure that that's in the middle of the seam. So get everything all prepared, and this is really simple to do. You just got to make sure that you're following the steps. Now seal your seams and wait 15 to 20 minutes or until it's dry. Preheat your seam iron between 3 and 4. I like to use 4 because I can move a lot quicker, but if you're brand new and you've never done this before or you don't have a lot of confidence in doing seams, I would recommend that you start off at 3. Once your seam iron is warmed up, you want to put it underneath the carpet on top of the seam tape. And then you want to wait about 30 to 60 seconds as it heats up that seam tape. Once you feel like it can slide, you want to slide your seam iron forward 1 full length. Then put the edges of your carpet together. The tighter that you have those seams, the better it's going to turn out. And sometimes you can use your knee kicker. Once you got it in place, take your star roller and put your body weight on that. That's what attaches it to the seam tape. Place your seam weight in place and you just continue doing the same thing all the way down. Once again, slide your seam iron forward 1 full length, put your seams together, grab your star roller, press it down with your body weight onto the seam tape, place your seam weight in place, and continue all the way to the end. Now, if you really want to get good at seams, you can log on to my website at carpetcleaningtradesecrets.com and you can purchase my How to Do Seams DVD. That's all that's on it. Job after job after job of how to do seams. And it's going to be really great for your technicians so that they can get good at doing seams and you can get good at doing seams. We're also going to show a different type of technology that's really advanced. It's a type of seam iron that's electronic that has a special kind of seam tape that you can actually heat up the seam tape from the top of the carpet fibers so that there's no way that you can melt them. It's an incredible piece of equipment. It's very expensive right now. But you know what? If you have technicians that you can trust with it, or if you're an owner-operator, that would be a way to go. If you have technicians that they break everything they touch, you would want to go with this type of seam iron because these are indestructible. This has been around for years and it works very well. Another good piece of advice that someone told me is that you should go out with a carpet installer. He can teach you all sorts of different techniques when you're installing carpet. Even if you had to pay him, it would be worth it if this is the career that you're going to choose for yourself. The other thing that I would recommend if you're going to take this serious is that you get certified by the IICRC in carpet repair and reinstallation. That's going to help you a lot as well. Wow, do those seams look fantastic? I mean, you can't even see the line. That's what's great about having a cut pile that's really long. It really hides that seam. And you see how when you use that straight edge, the seams turn out wonderful. Now these are great tips. So if you ever have a pet damage over in the corner from a cat, they usually like to spray or go to the bathroom over in the corners. Whenever I go into a home and they have a cat, I like to take my UV light right over to the corner because you'll usually be able to see the urine. So you take your carpet all, you pull back the carpet, and then you can show the customer the rotten urine on the back of the carpet. So that makes them really excited to actually get this job done with the pad replacement, sealing the floor, cleaning the back of the carpet, and then you can spray your enzymes or you can use your PROCHEM odor rescue. Just choose whichever products are going to be the best for you. You're going to find out which products you like, and those are going to be the ones that you're actually going to use on a regular basis. So I'm going to show you how to do a trace cut. This is a piece of cake. What you do is you take your piece of pad and you put it in the corner. Now take your pad knife and you want to press through both pieces of pad. You have your contaminated pad underneath, and you have your new piece of pad on top. If you do this right, you'll be able to make it in one clean cut. Now, a pad knife is a little different than a carpet knife. It's slanted so that it's going to cut the pad really easily. Discard the contaminated piece of pad, and then you can reinstall the new piece of pad, and look, it's a perfect fit. Now, it might be a different color than the original piece of pad, but it's the same poundage, it's the same height, and they're both made out of rebond. You could seal the floor, you can spray your enzymes on the back of the carpet, you can hot water extract the back of the carpet, reinstall it, enzyme it, clean it, enzyme it. You can do a great job in a corner for the customer, and they really appreciate when you go the extra mile like this. In this situation, we have the pet damage right in the middle of the room. There's no pet damage anywhere else, so we only have to replace the pad right here. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. This is rebond pad. I have the webbing up. What you do is you place it over the contaminated area. I wish you were in this room because the off gas of this urine is horrible. So I'm going to take my pad knife and make sure you have a brand new blade in it, and I'm going to cut around the urine stain. Now, you want to make sure that you go outside of where the contamination is so that you get the entire thing. That's why I'm making the square so large. Now, you press hard enough, and you're going to cut through both pieces of pad, and then you just take the contaminated pad, discard it, and then make sure you seal the floor, put it back into place, and staple hammer it down, and then the customer is just going to love you.
I hope you learned a lot from these DVDs. Now let's recap really quick. Let's say that you show up to a job and it's a light urine situation, but they have some urine stains. You're going to use the surface cleaning process with the PROCHEM Odor Rescue. Now let's say you show up to a job and it's a severe pet damage, but they still got the urine stains. Then you're going to use the same products. You're going to use the PROCHEM Odor Rescue, but you're going to replace the pad and seal the floor. Now let's say you show up to a job and it's only the odor. Then what you're going to do is you can either do the surface cleaning using the enzymes, or if it's really bad, replace the pad and seal the floor. The other thing is you want to make sure that you bid these jobs out right. You got to make sure it's a win-win. The company that you're working for, or if it's your company, you got to make a profit. If you don't, it's a win-lose. If you're unsure how to do that, you can log on to my website at carpetcleaningtradesecrets.com. I've got my Top Gun manual on there. I call it the Holy Grail, and it's the pricing that I use for my company. It'll give you a good idea how to price things for your company. The other thing you want to get is my DVDs. These are going to show you exactly how to do bonded inserts, upholstery cleaning. You're also going to be able to do any kind of restretches out there. That's good money. When you get onto my website, I want you to log on to my products page and make sure you go to my little testimonials box, because I want to hear from you. I want to hear the stories that you have out there and how these DVDs are helping you. If you want to make sure that you're doing 100% for the customer, then you want to make sure you also get certified by the IICRC. Now I'm going to leave you with this. Remember, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.